Welcome back to Mushoku Tensei Jobless Reincarnation Anime Review Episode number 20. Yes, this is the first review I've done for this thing in almost a year. Now, the only thing I had left really to review from the anime, because I reviewed the entire first season already, is basically I'm talking about here, the OVA, which is the first time this actually was released a little while ago. It's credited as a couple of different numbers, 16.5 and episode 24 of the anime. This is known as Eris the Goblin Slayer. This particular OVA is known for being the anime debut of a character who does play a big role in like the next couple story arcs for Rudius in the light novels. Clifford Greymore. Yes, this basically is his debut. Yes. Yeah, it's Clifford Gilmore. We also see a debut of two other characters, Teresa Larita, and this technically is her debut. Yes, it is. But the thing is, basically, like, Rudius does not meet her in the anime. Nope. Does mean a light novel, in a scene that was cut from the anime. Now, of course, Eris does not know this until a little bit later meets up with her. And we also see a debut of a character named Miko a Memory, a little girl. Of course, that's later in the episode. First, we sort of have the upbringing of Cliff, where he's like born and all his magic stuff, basically a magic caster. It's almost like the way his upbringing is. It's kind of similar a little bit to Rudius. And then we cut to present day where we see Eris. Now, unlike the second half of the first season where I watched it all subbed, I am going to watch it dubbed. Don't worry about that. I will eventually watch it. I decided to watch this one dubbed because I had heard dub was available, so I figured watch the dub. And that's what I did. I watched dub. It was absolutely fantastic hearing Lindsay Seidel as Eris once again. Now, I did speak to her about this, when Eris left Rudius in the end of the season, which is from the end of book 6, that he does reunite with her. I mistakenly thought it was book 16. Well, in the web novels, but in the light novels, he reunites her book 15. So, only 9 books away for the reunion between the two of them. Because she spent all that time training, getting herself better, taking a remap of Orset, which does play the part in the current light novel stuff. And of course, she ends up becoming Rudy. Let's stop spoiling right there, because basically I'm going to spoiler territory for recent light novels. I have read currently up to book 18, so that's as far as I go with it. And here's the thing, book 19 comes out next week. Now, book 18, English release, came out not this past week, but the week prior. And we have book 19 coming out next week. Basically, in 3 days, we're going to see the book release of 19. Now, this book series is presumably set to end at book 26, 27. Because basically, web novels only have 24 books. So, with this particular episode, after we get past the of Clifford, we see Eris. So she is walking through town. And then she sees where the entrance, where apparently demons had to pay more to enter the city. Yes. All because of demons. Despite the fact these people are not threatening anybody, they have to pay a higher tax because they're demons. 3 of them get arrested for daring to draw their swords and object to the tax. Eris sees this, but she has no authority to interfere in this. She just walks on by and then goes to the guild hall and makes a request if the Goblin Slaying quest is still available. And the person says, yes, I'll take that. Sure, okay. And then we meet Cliff for the first time, where he is basically requesting to join a party. And the thing is, they don't want him because of his rank. Not because of his age, because of his rank. Despite the fact Cliff does point out to them that he is actually a lot stronger than he appears. And then Eris proceeds to walk over there and basically punch them. Watch one of the guys beat the crap out of them, and he doesn't like the fact she's dead, and calls her nose ugly. And she proceeds to punch him. So he ends up following her and kind of joins him. He kind of begs to join on her quest for goblin slaying. And, well, ends up basically nearly frying an ear. Frying the goblins are slaying. And then they go to the forest where they get lost because they apparently no idea where the heck they are. And then they hear some stuff in the distance where they see a crusader. They describe as a crusader, basically a Templar, basically someone from the temple, protecting a little girl against two people who work for the Pope. Yeah, and turns out these people actually are somebody that Cliff himself knows. So Eris proceeds to fight the three of them by herself and with the knight, who is actually Teresa, and kills two of them while protecting the little girl. One does get away. Teresa basically, this is Teresa. She thanks her for saving her life, and refers to him as Regard, the Stepper from Dead End. That's basically her group, her, Rudius, and Regard. Now, by the way, this actually is set at the same time, concurrently with the events of when Rudius has his reunion with his reunion with his father, where he has a fight with him off screen. Well, that was happening in the main anime. This is what Eris up to off screen. This is her off screen adventure that's seen here, which I appreciate the anime taking time to do this. So, after she basically kills the Pope followers, then of course basically she asks her, "Can you please?" Of course, before all this happened, she asked Cliff if he could basically fly up in the air and see where they're going. He apparently thinks that's impossible, and Eris points out though that he apparently learned a lot of this magic at the age of 5, and the fact he's a tutor, and she's also in love with him. Despite the fact Rudius, I believe, is supposed to be about 2 years younger than Eris. Yes. So, then, of course, after killing those particular Pope followers, Teresa escorts Eris and Cliff under a helmet, under a mask. Well, it turns out these people actually were his tutors that Eris just killed. And apparently Eris, and of course then they go back to town. He, of course, basically asks her to marry him. She says no. And of course she tells how awesome Rudius is. And then they go their separate ways. And of course Eris goes into the events of what happened in episode 16, where she meets up with Rudius after he got crap beat out of him by his father. And that's pretty much it. I gotta say, this was definitely really good. I think Egg Studio themselves did a fantastic job with this. It's, for what I remember, a pretty faithful adaptation of the interlude. I kind of wish we do another one of these OVAs, presumably cover more material that was skipped over in the anime for reasons. Though I do think the series probably can use a director's cut, probably to adapt the material that was skipped over. And the one thing I have noticed still about this particular series, where the first half of the season had pretty good pacing, they pretty much kept a lot of stuff in. Excuse me. As for the second half, well, Book 4 did a really good job with that one. Book 6 did a good job, but not a good job with Book 5. Remember, Book 5, they skipped over some good portions for no explained reason. Probably due to time. Yep. But enjoy this episode. Now, the reason why I review it now, because here's the thing. The next season is set to premiere next year. And that basically is mainly the reason for it. Now, the last time I reviewed this thing, I was looking at basically the picture of my location I was recording in. I was actually in New York when I did my last review for this one last year. And here's the thing. The 18 light novel was the last physical book I read before I got back to watching before I resumed watching Go Ranger, which, by the way, I'm actually about 10 episodes away from finishing second batch episodes. But yeah, this is pretty much it for this particular review. Stay tuned for my review for, of course, a comic corner. Yes, I have one comic corner left, and that'll probably be it for tonight. I will discuss basically probably the order of stuff basically I do tomorrow. Okay, next video. Bye.